Hello. What's up? Welcome. Everyone hear me okay? Been a little while since we've done this, so just want to make sure everything's going smoothly. You can hear us okay. What's up? I am Jordan with 9to5Toys, and this week we have quite a few things to cover. It's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been a couple of weeks. Some different things going on that we can talk about. But yeah, we got a lot of things to cover, but of course, if you have any questions, anything you want us to take a look at, any deals you want to look for, any questions you have on anything that we've reviewed, let us know in the chat, and we will we'll check those out. So we'll get things kicked off a little bit here with I've got a few things lined up from the last few weeks. Mainly, the last live stream that we did was right before I went to Paris for a Philips event for their Evnia launch, which is pretty exciting. So let me pull that up here real quick. So in case you don't know, you didn't see, Evnia is Philips' new gaming line, which covers more than just monitors. They're also doing peripherals. So they'll be doing keyboards and mice and headsets and mouse pads, and that's just what they've announced right now for launch. So they made a big to-do about it and brought a bunch of people out to Paris and had an event at the stadium there. And so we got to kind of take a pre-production hands-on look at some of these things. So it's not to say that this is like what we're going to actually be seeing when they start shipping, but some pretty cool stuff in here. So we'll kind of go through, like, as the event was going on, I was sending pictures and information back to Patrick, and then Patrick put together a little post about it live, kind of covering the announcement. And then I ended up making a video about it as well, which you can watch. I'll link that in the chat if you want to check it out. Oh, I gotta go to the other. Let's see here. Let's see if that shows up. So yeah, you can check that out and see a little bit more about it, see the video coverage. It was a really cool event. But basically, like this is going to be kind of like a premium gaming line that they're going to be doing. So some incredible panels that are also priced as such, which I'm excited to check out and actually try. It does seem like you're paying a little bit more for like the nice aesthetic of it, which some people want to do, some people don't want to do. There are plenty of more affordable monitors out there. When we start to get down here into the pricing, this 34-inch is going to be $2,000, which is it's a pretty pricey piece of tech there. But then they have some other ones that are more affordable, and even going all the way down to a 1440p display at $550. So it'll be fun to see what all they come out with. The monitors, yeah, like I said, I think they look great. They're going to perform really well. Like, the specs are pretty incredible on them, which is exciting. The peripherals that they're announcing, that they announced, it's going to be interesting. Like, hey, welcome from Senegal. That's awesome. The peripherals that they mentioned, like the mouse and the keyboard, like, I don't know. We're going to have to wait to see those actually like launch and release, and that won't be for a while. I don't think those are like releasing in June of next year or something like that, so it's going to be a little while. But they're getting into a pretty, busy competitive market there with mice and keyboards, especially with like all the lightweight stuff that's been coming out recently from the likes of Razer. So personally, I wasn't like super blown away by the peripherals, but we won't know until they're actually shipping production pieces what those are going to be like. Everything we saw was pre-production. So let's see here. We can probably check out their website and take a look at some of that. Let's see if they have it on there. But it's going to be a huge lineup of where's actual Philips? Oh yeah, it's going to be a huge lineup of peripherals. Like multiple mice, multiple keyboards, some pretty cool stuff. Okay, maybe they aren't showing that on their website yet, which is interesting. Yeah, like we said, excited to actually try them out. Time will tell how they actually perform, and if people want to, spend a little bit more for the aesthetic of them, because they are really, really beautiful monitors. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions on that, we can kind of move on to the next thing. I wanted to kind of cover that briefly. It was, like I said, like Philips has never done something like this before. They said where they've invited a bunch of people out to a huge launch event. There were people from all over the world, all the different regions. I was part of a group of 9 from North America, including people from like PC Gamer, Linus Tech Tips. So that was pretty incredible. Felt pretty lucky to be able to do that. But yeah, if there are any questions, we can move on to the next piece that I wanted to talk about. And this is this will be a review. This is the Roccat Syn Max Air. That we reviewed a little bit ago, but we haven't done a live video since, so we can talk about that a little bit. So basically, Roccat is like, hey, let's throw all the bells and whistles at this headset, and we'll make something that's wireless, has RGB, and has this actually pretty slick charging dock, which is something that you don't see very often in the headset space, which is handy for a wireless gaming headset. Like, you just set it down in there, and it charges up, and then it's ready to go from for the next time that you actually pick it up. And me personally, I don't know that I would choose to, spend a little bit more money on that. But if that's something that you want, this is a very unique headset that actually has that. Kind of one of the comments someone said on the YouTube video was like, I think you undersold this because it has RGB and it has a charging dock, which is exactly what I'm looking for, which is surprising. I mean, I say it's surprising just because it's something that I personally would not be looking for. But it's a pretty neat piece, and they sound good too. You have a lot of audio control. I don't know if I did any pictures, snapshots of that in here, but through the software, there's a lot of deep audio customization you can do. I mean, Roccat is part of Turtle Beach, and so like the superhuman hearing mode is a part of this, and there's a lot of other stuff you can do. You can even EQ the microphone, which is pretty unique. One of the reasons that my review came out a little bit later after the headset launched was that some of the audio drivers weren't quite working right, and so you couldn't do many audio tweaks to the headset through Windows 10. So I waited until those were actually working, and then we posted that review, and I enjoyed the headset. Like, it sounds good. It's comfortable enough. It has a very similar, this is how I described it in the review. I said that it felt like a grown-up Turtle Beach Stealth 700. And what I meant by that is like the ear pads are, they seemed very identical or very similar to what's on the Stealth series from Turtle Beach, but it doesn't have quite the same clamping force. So it's a little more comfortable. It feels like it's maybe meant for like a little bit larger of a head. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like the Stealth series from Turtle Beach is maybe meant for a younger demographic because it has some pretty intense clamping force. But I didn't notice that on this headset, the Roccat Syn Max Air, even though it has very similar, it has the cooling ear pads, which are pretty handy. So, yeah, and I can drop the link to that review in the chat as well. People can check that out if they want. Yeah, if you have any questions, anything else you want to look at, any comparisons, let us know. Let me know. It's just me this week, so you're hanging out with me. What, so say hello, so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so if there aren't any questions on that, we'll move on to the next piece, which is the NZXT H5 Flow case, one of their new releases, which is pretty exciting. I think it's pretty exciting. I really enjoyed their older H510 Flow. So I was pretty excited to get my hands on the new H5 Flow. And so there are quite a few changes with this. It still kind of keeps the same bare bones design, I guess, like design language as the older NZXT cases, or the older H510. Like, it's very simple. You can tell it's like very squared off here, just like the older case, which is what I really like. I had gotten the NZXT Foundation PC to review, which has one of the older H510 cases, and so that was like my first time checking one of these cases out, and I loved the look of it. And then I saw that there was the Flow version, which has more airflow. Let me see if I have a picture of that on here. It has more airflow in the front, like as you can tell on this one, it has the mesh in front. And so I ended up picking up one of those for my setup here at my PC, where I stream and work and do all this stuff. Because I liked the look of it, I was like, oh, that'd be a really nice, background for my video. So I picked one of those up. And then shortly after, they released the H5, so I was pretty excited to check that out. I had recently built or transferred all of my components into the H510 Flow. I didn't do a brand new build because I can't really buy a whole bunch of new components at the moment. So I transferred everything over there earlier this year. And then when the H5 came out, I transferred everything from the H510 Flow into the H5 Flow. So I had a pretty, fresh hands-on experience with what it was like building in both of those cases. And I think that the changes that they made to the H5 for building were all really nice changes, in my opinion. And you can kind of see the differences here. Both of these are their white variant. The one on the right is the older H510. And as you can see, even though it's the white variant, it still has quite a few black pieces to it, which can be kind of a cool look. Almost had like a Stormtrooper kind of look to it. But the new H5 is much more white. Like, even the feet down here are white. You can tell like the backing here where you're actually building is white as well. So, excuse me. So if you want a completely white build, this case gets a lot closer there for that. And some other changes that they've made for building this, as you can see on the H510, there's this like hard plastic little cable routing here, which is kind of neat, but in my experience, like, it was kind of hard to work with. I had a hard time fitting the cables in there, which I don't know if that's just my setup and my components, but I had a hard time with that. So with the H5, they took away the channel, and then they just have these Velcro straps, which actually was a lot easier for me to work with. I enjoyed that a lot more. And then additionally, there was another minor change that I kind of liked up here across the top. This little gap above, like where the motherboard sits, is a little bit bigger. So that was a little bit easier to work with as well, because some of those spaces up in there can get pretty finicky, pretty tiny. So I enjoyed that. I think these cases are really easy to build in. Still affordable. The H5 is $95, so a little bit more expensive than the older generation, but it's still under $100. And for me, the main things I was looking for... Sorry, I gotta get some water real quick. The main things I was looking for with the case, something easy to build in, and that does this. Something that's aesthetically pleasing. And I love the NZXT 5 series, the H5, the H510 Flow. And sorry, I got a cough again. Okay. And relatively affordable too, like $100. Like, this isn't a premium case, but I feel like it kind of has a more premium look to it just because it's so simple, which to me is very aesthetically pleasing. So I enjoy these cases a lot. And some other big changes, a lot of people have pointed out in their reviews, is there is a fan down here. This comes pre-installed, and this little shroud pointing directly to a GPU. It's targeted to try to help cool a GPU a little bit more. And there has been some interesting, reviews or stats that other people have posted on there. I've seen some other videos where it didn't really perform any better, or maybe even worse than a fan that was just located at the front of the case. So I'm not sure, how much of a performance upgrade that is for NZXT putting that down here, but I posted my specs. I don't have a huge backlog of benchmarks for different PC builds, different components, but these are the actual temperatures that I was getting when I was doing my testing when I was building in this case. So with the GPU running the 12-minute Heaven benchmark was at 78 degrees with the fan going. CPU was at 66 after a 10-minute Cinebench. And that's with a RTX 2070 Super, so nothing crazy. A few generations old, but that's what I'm using, kind of my little mid-tier kind of build here. So like I didn't have any issues with cooling, but I'm also not running a crazy powerful PC in here. So that's kind of my take on that. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. Oh, and some other, like another reason I like this case is there's a lot of expandability here. Like it has the entire mesh front. If you want to put, you can put a radiator in there, you can put a couple fans in there. And then across the top, they also changed the top here, and you can fit a radiator up top as well. So a lot of options for cooling if you want to really beef this thing up and put some more powerful things in there that need a little bit more cooling. So I'm a fan of it. I think it's a cool case. I think it's a cool looking case. I ended up buying a couple more fans to put in the front. Yeah, the 5000D. Yeah, that's another solid case there. Another very popular one. Like that was another one that I considered with this. I think it's been recommended a lot. But I just like the looks. Like it's literally just like a visual thing for me. I like the look of the NZXT. Just because it's so simple. Yeah. Oh, that's just my opinion. And yeah. So pretty cool case. They also changed the tempered glass side cover here. It's completely clear on this one instead of like smoked on the older H510 Flow. So like things are a lot more visible in there, which makes me want to actually get some better looking components. Build out like, match it with like the white motherboard and stuff, which of course NZXT sells, but maybe someday I'll do that. Not right now. But pretty cool case. I'm excited. I did buy a couple of RGB fans to put in the front and a controller as well. So I'll get those put in here shortly, and maybe we can show it off at the next live stream once I have that all built out in there. But all right, that's the NZXT H5. Which I think is a pretty solid. What did I just do here? Oh, I clicked the link in Streamlabs and then I opened it up. Oh, how do I get out of that? Sorry, technical difficulty real quick. How do I put that in there? Oh no. Seriously, how do you make that go away? Huh. Okay. Well. Okay, there we go. I went back to the chat. Okay. Cool. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is some of the video I posted today. Some of my favorite gear from 2022. And the post on 9to5Toys isn't live yet, but we can kind of pull up a preview of it and take a look at that here. So this is like my favorite things that I've found this year that I've really enjoyed. So, and a lot of this is gaming focused. It's not necessarily like the mouse and keyboards. Like I use those for work and for gaming too. It's not like just for gaming, but a lot of the stuff is more gaming focused. But these are some of my favorite picks. So as you can tell right off the top, my favorite mouse has definitely been the Razer Death Adder V3 Pro. It's just kind of blown away all of my expectations. It's what I'm using now. I did just get in the new Glorious, their Model O Pro, which I've been using a little bit, but this kind of just, for me, re-emphasized why I like the Death Adder V3 Pro so much. Like, it's more expensive, obviously. Like, the Death Adder is a lot of money, and that's not going to be, an option for everybody. But hopefully, we'll start to see it on sale a little bit this Black Friday and holiday season. We are starting to see the Viper V2 Pro on sale a little bit. I mean, it's down to like $127, so not a huge price cut, but that could mean that maybe we'll see the Death Adder as well, because that came out a little bit after that. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a dedicated review of the Glorious yet. I haven't really decided. Just because, like, it's okay. For me, it's just like, it feels like a lot of the, like, I've always described the Glorious mice as like, they kind of feel just like a little bit more of a budget mouse. Like you can get wireless, you can get lightweight without spending $150, you know, even the older Model O, not the Pro version. But the feel of it and like little creaks and quality, they're never quite all the way there. And that's one of the, like, going back and forth between that and the Death Adder. That's what made me realize, like, you know, this is a really solid mouse. Very lightweight, very solid, very comfortable mouse for me. And it has the amazing specs with the new sensor and everything too. Like, a lot of reviews have shown that it's an extremely fast sensor, which does very well. So, Death Adder V3 Pro, my favorite mouse of the year. Some other honorable mentions that I had in here were the Viper V2 Pro. I mean, basically, if you don't like the ergonomic shape of the Death Adder, then the Viper V2 Pro has all of the same specs. I think if I have it here, I don't think I have it on my desk with me, but it's just a symmetrical design. So you can kind of pick your flavor there from Razer, you know, which one you want. And then other honorable mentions that I had was the Roccat Cone XP. Basically, like, if you don't want a super lightweight gaming mouse, if you want something that has a little bit more flair and some more features, like the Roccat Cone XP is a great choice. Pull that up here real quick. The charging dock, it's pretty solid, and then a bunch of extra buttons here on the side if you want a little more functionality on your mouse. So that's a great choice. Hopefully we'll see it on sale. That was another kind of topic with this, is that Patrick was messaging me and it showed up out here. Patrick, not right now. I'm sorry, what was I saying? Oh yes, all these things, like, this is my favorite gear from this year, and kind of what you should be looking out for deals on, or what I would be looking out for deals on Black Friday and this holiday season. So maybe we'll see some good deals on the Roccat, see that price come down a little bit. Another one that is a very similar was the Basilisk V3 Pro, also from Razer. They've been putting out some crazy mice this year. But this one likewise has all the buttons, all the RGB, customizable scroll wheel. You can get the charging dock for it, which looks phenomenal and works really well with the Mouse Dock Pro, which it'll be like, basically Razer said there are going to be other mice that support this Mouse Dock Pro. They just haven't, you know, released them yet. So that's something to look forward to in the future as well, is more mice that accept this charging dock, because it's pretty cool. It works well. It looks great. So we'll see. Razer Viper Mini user. Go wireless. Do you have a suggestion for me? Thanks in advance. So what's your, you know, appeal with the Razer Viper Mini? Is it the size, or is it super lightweight? Combination of that? You know, what is it that drew you to that mouse? Or that's a very affordable mouse too. It's a great performing mouse at a great price. So kind of curious, you know, what you're looking for there. If you like Vipers, I mean, the Viper V2 Pro is a phenomenal mouse. It's expensive, super lightweight. It was 25 euros at the time. Yeah, totally. Well, so I guess if weight is a big concern, maybe this wouldn't work for you. But let me get back to Amazon. Was it the Viper Ultimate, the last generation? Like, now that the V2 Pro is out, this thing has got some crazy price cuts. $80 right now with the dock. Significantly heavier, but still not crazy heavy. So that might be an interesting pick for you. Like I said, down to $80, which is wild. It used to be $150. And still a solid mouse. Like, a lot of people love this thing. So that might be an interesting pick. Yeah, even 74 grams. Yeah. Yeah, 74 grams. So that isn't like super heavy. That's not as light as the, you know, Death Adder V3 Pro or the glorious Model O Pro. But that's still pretty lightweight considering a lot of other mice. So, and it's one that's been vetted by a lot of people. A very, very popular mouse that a lot of people have had a lot of good experience with. I know that it was a lot of people's main mouse when that was pretty new. So I don't think you can go wrong. I'll say that. What are we talking about? Lost my train of thought. Oh, we're going through the all my favorite peripherals. Yeah, Basketball V3 Pro. That's right. On the opposite end, very expensive, but has all the frills. So solid mouse. Like the Basilisk is very comfortable. It's just, you know, after using lighter weight mice, like I enjoy something that's a little bit lighter. So I don't think that's the mouse for me. Alternatively, for a little bit more money, the G Pro X Superlight, Logitech, another extremely popular high performance mouse, is often on sale now, which for a long time it was never on sale. So still expensive, $138, but like I said, once again, Black Friday, maybe we'll see some more deals there. Stay locked to 9to5Toys.com as we're posting like all these deals every day as stuff is popping up. So worth keeping an eye on as well. You probably want to hold off a little bit until you see what's coming up on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So that's another solid choice there. All right, moving on, talking about keyboards. So I didn't even mention any other keyboards in this review, or like my favorite gear, just because I really like this keyboard. This is the HyperX Alloy Origin 65 Aqua. Really solid keyboard. The thing that the Alloy Origins line, the reason I like it so much, it's full aluminum. The weight on this keyboard, a 65%, is 825 grams, so it has a great amount of heft to it. Like, it feels solid, and there's barely any flex if you try to bend it or anything like that. And just for a big brand keyboard, pre-built, like it feels more premium than what the price and what the brand would suggest. Does it come in white? The keyboard, the Alloy Origin 65? I don't think so, unfortunately. They sometimes do little like limited edition runs with some of their different peripherals in different colors. They've sent out some other cool stuff, but I haven't seen this one in white yet. That would be awesome. That would look great. One of the fun things they do is HyperX sends some alternative keycaps. It's usually, I think it's just the space bar and the escape key. But they match the switch color that you have. So if you get the red switches, you'd have some red accents here. If you get the aqua, which is what I have, you get the aqua accents. And that's the reason I waited a little bit to review this keyboard as well, because I really wanted the aqua switches, and I'm glad I waited because those are some great tactile switches if you like a tactile. It's the similar weight, or how much actuation force it takes as like a Cherry MX Brown or Gateron Brown. But it feels a little bit better and sounds a little bit better, in my opinion. And you can see, I'll post a review if I can find it real quick. But there is we have a sound test in there where you can check out, what it actually sounds like. I'll post that in the chat real quick. Like I said, solid keyboard. I love this thing. I was very happy when this finally came out and I was able to use it, because it took a while. They released the 65 with the red switches, and then it took a little while for the aquas to become available, but super solid keyboard. So another one to check out and keep an eye on. And then moving down into headsets. This one was kind of interesting for me this year. We've seen a lot of great headsets released, but it was hard for me to find one that I thought was the best, or that I always reach for, anytime I'm gaming or working on videos or anything like that. I had a hard time choosing like my favorite or what I thought was the best. There's one that was almost there. The Arctis Nova Pro Wireless from SteelSeries. Phenomenal headset in almost every aspect, except that the ANC bumps they would press up against my ears in the ear cups, and so like the comfort wasn't there for me. It was always kind of irritating. I just turned my camera on. Sorry, I'm gonna wave and turn that off. Okay. So the link doesn't move around. So this one, yeah, the only little piece that I didn't like about this headset was the comfort for me, which is unfortunate. Like, it's like, you know, everything else so close. I actually just saw that Wicked Cushions they're coming out with. They make aftermarket replacement ear pads for a lot of different headsets. They have a lot of different SteelSeries headsets, and they released or announced, I think they're taking pre-orders for cushions for these. So I pre-ordered those, and I'll do a follow-up to kind of, you know, see if that made the comfort a little bit better for me, made it a little more comfortable. Because if the comfort's there for this headset, then it's definitely the best one from the year, in my opinion. It's also maybe the most expensive, $350, I think. So hopefully we'll see some deals this Black Friday. What would be a wireless multi-Bluetooth alternative to the HyperX? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe something from, I don't like the thing, like Razer has some cool wireless keyboards. They can do Bluetooth and 2.4, but they don't have the same build quality feel, I think, as what the HyperX does. Like, that's what really sets it apart for me. It just feels like a more premium keyboard than what you would think it would for the price. I don't think they do, or I don't know if they do any wireless keyboards, HyperX. Check it out real quick. One other suggestion, like I know they've been very popular, got a lot of great press, is the Keychron, kind of their different lines. And I think they have some hot swap versions too, where you can kind of change out the switches, which would be great. Like Jeff, who used to do videos at 9to5Mac, he posted a few different videos on those, and like, they always looked and sounded and performed really well. What are we looking at? Keyboards. Let's see here. I don't know if they have any wireless keyboards, do they? It's a whole new market they could get into. So we won't look at that, but let's check out, I think it's Keychron. Once again, like, I think these are very aesthetically pleasing. Solid build, a lot of different, I mean, they have some low profile versions, some cool things in here. I haven't tried one, but I've watched enough reviews of one that I really want to pick one up to try it out. So if you want something, you know, I'd say if you're looking for like good build quality with wireless, like multi-Bluetooth, this might be where I would look. That would be my suggestion. I wouldn't necessarily look at the Razer stuff. I think it's too expensive for what it is. But I think these are pretty great. So yeah, like I said, I haven't personally tried it out, so take that with a grain of salt. But I feel like I've seen enough reviews that people are very happy with it. And they have a 65%. You can get browns in it, which would be my choice. I know not everybody likes tactiles, but I like tactile switches. Speaking of tactile switches, did you see Bad Seed Tech released his own tactile switches? I missed the sale. They were out in like 40 minutes or something like that, and I'm so bummed. I wish I would have gotten those. Let's see if I can pull those up. They look incredible. And a link over there. Link here. And yeah, props to him for doing that. That's just a whole nother world, actually getting into like manufacturing your own product. That's just wild. But I'm definitely going to be trying to pick these up. I already signed up for the announcement, you know, when they come back in stock, because I definitely want to try out some of these. Anywho. Yeah, let me know what you think. I don't know, you can comment on this video if you end up picking one up, or if you have any more questions, or yeah, interested in hearing what you think. Actually, let's check out. I'm gonna hop over to 9to5Mac YouTube and maybe see one of their reviews. Like even MKBHD, like he uses one of those. Let's see, trying to search real quick. Yeah, well, I guess it's a couple years ago, but he did one of the Keychron K2 version 2. You gonna load? Okay, maybe we won't watch that. I feel like I have another window open and it says there's an audio renderer error. I feel like some of my virtual cables are kind of messing things up. So maybe we won't watch that. But definitely worth a peek. Okay. All right, let's move on. Talk about the next thing. Oh yeah, we were talking about headsets. Some other great headsets from this year were the Sony InZone H9, and kind of on the opposite side of what I liked about the SteelSeries and what I didn't like. The H9 had the comfort, it had the sound quality, it has ANC, which is something I used a lot this summer and really enjoyed, but it doesn't have the same like real world usability for me. You can't remove the microphone to clean it up, to like, I don't know, to take it out, use it when you are traveling around. Like with the SteelSeries, you can do that, or it's retractable. It retracts back into the actual ear cup itself, so it cleans up a little bit. And because both these have Bluetooth as well, so if you do want to take it on the road with you, like this looks a little bit cleaner, I think. Like the Sony, I probably wouldn't take, on if I was traveling or flying, I probably wouldn't take that. But the SteelSeries, I maybe would, because it has a look, it has ANC, has Bluetooth. So that was the bummer with the Sony for me. It's a little bit more affordable though, $300 for that one. Actually, it's maybe even on sale right now for just a little bit less than that. So that's a cool one to check out. And then we also had some other interesting headsets come out this year. The 300-hour battery life of the HyperX Cloud Alpha Wireless is pretty wild. I've used that a decent amount this year, and I've never had to recharge it yet. So I guess I haven't used it for 300 hours yet, but that's pretty wild. If battery life is your big concern, that's an incredible headset there. Something we've never seen. Like going back to the Roccat Syn Max Air we talked about a little bit ago, the battery life on that thing is under 20 hours. Just thinking about how much longer the battery life is on the HyperX is just pretty wild. But yeah, we already talked about the Syn Max Air, so don't need to mention that again, but that's another fun one you can check out. And then the other one that I talked about in this video is the one that I'm using right now, and this is the Epos H3 Pro Hybrid, and that came out late last year, but it's still one that I really enjoy. I find the audio quality of Epos headsets to be incredible, and the comfort to be really good as well. The only thing with this headset is that it sometimes has little wireless glitches, which can be very frustrating. So I'm actually, for this stream, I don't want to deal with that. I'm running it wired into my Razer audio mixer, but it still has ANC. Even running it wired, you can turn it on and power it and utilize ANC, which, like I said, I've been using a lot this year. So this is another great headset. Still pretty expensive for what it is. I think it's $280, but another great one. I just wish that the wireless connection was a little bit better. And it's especially bad when you have both wireless and Bluetooth turned on. which stinks because that should be a benefit and a feature of this headset. So that's a bummer. I'm still waiting for a H6 Pro hybrid, the wireless version of the H6. I really hope they come out with something like that, which we will see. Okay, and moving on, one of the other products I wanted to talk about, one of my other favorite pieces of gear from this year, has been a webcam that I'm actually excited about, which is really surprising. It's the one I'm using right now. It's the Insta360 Link. It's a gimbal mounted camera for as a webcam. It's small and tiny and discreet, but at the same time, it's really powerful for what it is. It'll do 4K. It'll do 60 FPS if you want a little bit higher frame rate there. And with that gimbal, it can actually track you around a room. If I wave to it, the base blinks blue, which lets me know that it's in a follow mode, and then if I move around, it will actually follow me around the frame, which is awesome. So you can walk around and reframe yourself, then use your hand gesture to turn that off again. Super cool webcam. And previously I had been using the Razer Kiyo Pro, which I think can be a nice webcam as well. At the time, I thought that the image quality coming out of there was really good, except for I always felt like I had to tweak the color a little bit, and I always felt like I could never trust the autofocus of that webcam. And those are both things with the Insta360 that I feel like I think it performs really well. This is the color coming straight out of the camera. I don't have any filters on it, and then also autofocus is pretty incredible too. Let's see if we can get a good example of it. I guess my background is kind of messing up, but it's probably 3 or 4 inches away. Little Hot Wheels car, and then it'll just snap back to me. So a really solid camera with some other neat, smart features too. And let's see here. You can check out the review of that. Where do I have that? I'll pop that in the chat real quick here. Open it. Oh, well, this is the. Let's see if we can find the actual review of it. Yeah, super solid camera. What was it? Someone else, Elgato just released their new Facecam Pro, which I haven't been able to check out myself, but I've seen some videos of that, and that also looks pretty solid. It doesn't have the same gimbal, follow you kind of functionality as what the Insta360 does, but the image coming out of there looks pretty phenomenal. Once again, for webcam, notoriously, I feel like webcams have been just terrible. And so it's fun to see some actual good images coming out of a webcam. So pretty exciting stuff there. You don't have to buy a $400 DSLR that's just for your webcam. You can get some nice features in this. So maybe we'll get a chance to actually go hands-on with that and try it out. But until then, the Insta360 Link is by far my favorite webcam, and it blew me away with the image and what it can do. Okay, and then moving on here, we're going to talk about some other things, some of my other favorite gear. We have going into microphones. So we did see some new microphones come out this year, or some that I got to actually try. There were more that came out that I didn't get to try yet. I know Rika went hands-on with the latest Sony, which looked pretty cool. Really neat looking microphone. And you can see that in some of our previous live streams, I believe. She was using that. So you can hear how that sounds. Well, I guess it's not a great representation of how it sounds because it's going through Discord into my streaming software and then up to YouTube. So maybe not the, best way of hearing what it sounds like, but in her review, she talks about how it sounds. So, but anywho, so for the holiday deal season and what to look up for, I actually kind of went back to one of my favorites, which is the HyperX Solo Cast. And like it's all like right now it's already on sale for $35, which is a very affordable microphone that sounds great. It sounds, I think it sounds better than a lot of mics that are, you know, more than twice as expensive. But it could do with a couple of mods, a couple of upgrades. And so I've actually made a video about that where you add, you know, a $15 boom arm, which I don't know. I feel like you pretty much need for any microphone anyways. The stands are just always so short and you can't actually get it close to your mouth, which isn't great. You can get a boom arm for a pretty affordable price. And same with this shock mount. The stock stand with the SoloCast can pick up a decent amount of desk impact noise, and I highlighted that in my review of it. But if you get that boom arm, if you get that shock mount, it takes out a lot of that. It makes it a lot better for streamers and solo content creators who are looking for a great sounding microphone on a budget. You know, you don't want to spend, you don't need the features that more expensive microphones have, and you know, you're just looking to save a little bit of money. Definitely think this is one of my favorite microphones, and for Black Friday and for deal season, you know, this is a great time to pick it up. So definitely another one to check out there. Let's see here. We're going to check the Amazon listing of it. I don't want to show. Yeah. You know, the list price was $60. It's down to $35 right now on November 11th, middle of the week or end of the week. So, oh, and they have a white version of it too. I don't know if that's on sale. Yeah, it's more expensive, but if that fits your setup, it's pretty solid. And yeah, I've done a couple videos on that. I did my review of it, and then I did how to make it sound better with those mods. So definitely one to check out. I can link those in the chat. Let's see if it comes up. Yes. Down in the chat. Yeah, I think my YouTube's broken from my virtual cables, but that's okay. We don't need to actually watch that. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end here. Some other things that I talked about for microphones were also the HyperX DuoCast. So another new microphone from HyperX. It has the built-in shock mount. And it has a little bit of more app functionality, or it's supposed to, which was kind of interesting. They, someone I think commented on this on my YouTube video, which you know, tipped me off to it. But they showed some features in their promotional video that weren't actually available yet in the software for this microphone, which seemed a little shady. And I emailed them. I don't want to show what they said, but I emailed them about it. Basically, like, yeah, this feature will be coming out, but I haven't really heard anything else from it. And I guess I haven't checked it. I haven't tried it in a little while to see if they've already updated it, but it was a little shady there. HyperX. But it's still a great sounding microphone. It has a built-in shock mount. Still has a little bit of RGB, not quite as crazy as the Quadcast line. Another thing I really like about these microphones is the tap to mute on top. Very easy to find, very easy to actuate. It's not a physical button you have to like click. So you can just tap it real quick and mute the microphone. So I like those from HyperX quite a bit. And then the other microphone that I talked about as part of my kind of roundup for the best gear, what to look out for, was the Deity VO7U. And the reason I like this one a lot is because it's just, if you get it with this boom arm, it's just a ready to go package. Flip it onto your desk and it's ready to go. And it's not like the boom arm is quite a bit bigger than the cheap ones that I usually recommend. And I usually just recommend one of the most affordable ones from Amazon. And a lot like with the HyperX, I basically just bought the cheapest one I could. But this boom arm is a little bit longer, so it can actually kind of peek over a monitor, which is good. And yeah, so it just comes as a ready-to-go package. You don't have to purchase anything else for it. You don't need shock mounts. You don't need a boom arm. It's just ready to go. So, solid choice there. But that's it as far as, what I had for my best gear of 2022, and what to look out for this deal season. What I think you should maybe look for picking up. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else we had to cover in here. I think that's about it. So we'll start wrapping up here pretty soon. Been going for almost an hour. Unless anybody else has anything that they want to look at, any deals or anything that they're looking for. We talked about some mice and some keyboards earlier, cases a little bit. But yeah, like I've said this countless times already, but for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the deals team literally is like up all night and then they sleep for a couple hours and then they get back on to make sure that they're getting like all the best deals, all the latest deals, and highlighting them here on our website. And another guy who is kind of working on the back end of organizing a lot of these deals, he's coming out with some new features as well, so we'll be able to find them easier and find the ones that are actually good deals and kind of sift through the things that nobody really cares about very much. So stay locked to 9to5Toys.com for the next little while, and hopefully save a little bit of money if there's something you're looking to pick up. But well, with that, I think we'll wrap it up here. So thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, it's been a few weeks since we've done live, but we're gonna get back into the swing of doing this every Friday at 3:30. So put it in your calendar, come back and say hi, and see what we're talking about, what we're reviewing. We'll see if I can get Rika back on next week or someone else from the team to get on there too. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for hanging out. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you later.